In the last episode, we saw kaboom booms. And in this episode, we might just see them again.
This, my friends, is the aftermath of the Creeper TNT game that we made for Cleo. And over here, a fatal mistake. It was around here that I left a barrel full of 64 diamond ore blocks. And they have gone the way of the kaboom booms. Yes, it's confirmed. I am a total idiot. But have no fear, I did make a backup of the world, right? And then at a later date, I deleted that backup. But it's not all derps, because I have a backup in my redstone creative world. No, don't set off the pressure plates! Wait, they're standing on it. Oh yeah, that's right. This one is made out of nether wart, so I didn't actually make it out of TNT. Whew, almost did like a mega triple derp. Anyways, I've made a copy for this, I've sent it off to Cleo if she wants to try the game again in a creative world, and that's what we're going to do later on in this episode. We are also going to be making a crazy farm that is built entirely out of copper blocks. It's actually going to be the copper farm that I built earlier in the season, but rebuilt in the void, and this is because I want to repay Keralis, and I'm going to do that with an extraordinary amount of copper blocks. I will also be introducing a new customization feature here on Hermitcraft. Have you seen what it is? But the first thing we're going to do is construct the third and final minigame for Scar. This one is the epic one, and just a reminder that we have a crazy amount of these woods which it is built out of. In fact, the whole thing has already been built, so let's see how that went down. Oh yes, there it is, my friends, looking incredible, right? There's obviously some work that needs doing around the edges with all the grass blocks, but otherwise the aesthetic here is just terrific. And I'm going to give you the rundown of how this game is played. There's also like no proper way to the starting area, which is this wood right here. This is a 4-player game, by the way. And this is the finishing area where I must remember to build some redstone, but you can probably get a gist of what's going on here. This is like a lane racing game, and there are 4 lanes in total. There's also like this starting pit that can be activated with redstone. In fact, let's keep using the camera, because now you can see, yeah, we just push up the sticky piston, and then the player is able to jump out and start the game, and they can all be activated at the same time. So there will be some basic rules that I'm going to put in like a book and lectern at some point here, but each player will have some leather boots and then 2 buckets. And as you'll see, there is powdered snow, so we can jump across, but we can also pick up the powdered snow and then place it anywhere else. So in order to get up here, I've got to place it down and then grab it and then place it down again. And so the whole course is basically like a puzzle where you got to manage how you use these blocks. I think you're supposed to put the next one there. No. Oh, I can try again. I can't even remember how I designed this puzzle. I'm pretty sure it was like that. Yeah, there you go, that's the way. And then you got to go into this mode, which is always slightly hilarious and derpy. And it's at this point here that you get the second block. And you got to use them together like that. Now, one of the rules is that you're not allowed to place blocks outside of the lane, like over to the side, because then you could start to abuse and go up above and over. You got to play this game with the spirit of just sort of staying in the one space. And in areas like this, whoa, there's probably going to be multiple ways to solve the puzzle, but as you can see, picking a block up from the edge can get a little bit hairy. Because with 2 of these, you can essentially just sort of like walk across a gap, but it's really up to the player to use the space and figure out what works best, because sometimes jumping from up high is going to be quicker than going across like this. But yeah, making a mistake in this middle section is going to be pretty brutal. If someone falls off and leaves both of their buckets up here, it's kind of game over. But I really don't think that's going to be a problem if you're concentrating right, and so it becomes a balance of not trying to rush too much, but trying to be smart and not make mistakes. As you can see here, there's going to be like a big drop down with lava. And yes, that means you can die when playing this game. There's also some interactions with redstone where you have to give up one of your buckets for a little while, and then do some big jumps across these deadly gaps. But anyways, I think you get the point, and this was built for Scar's charity livestream, so to see the thing in action, you'll have to wait for the stream itself. Oh, and I must remember to put these blocks back in the correct position. Yeah, I didn't actually have to set up the game that way, so you pick up the blocks as you go. That means you need a little bit of work to reset it, I guess. Anyways, we've got a little bit of redstone work to do at the end of this thing. And when I say little bit, it turns out that this is incredibly simple. And it looks a little bit ugly too, the way I'm implementing it, but this is going to be our wind detection system. And all we need for it is sort of what you're seeing me place right here. A little bit of redstone and then a pressure plate like that to power the dropper. And in this current implementation, it is exceedingly ugly. I'll probably come back here and modify this at some point so it hides the redstone. And I realize I have no XP for renaming items, but essentially in each of these droppers, like this one here, it will say lane 1. So when this gets activated, it moves that item into the chest. But the thing is, the chest is empty, and the first item to get moved goes into the first slot. And so this clearly lets us see who came in first, second, third, and fourth. So I hope you got a feel for the minigame. It's really going to be so much better to see in action. And as I mentioned, that's going to take place on Scar's charity livestream. So on that note, it is time for us to head to the end dimension. Also, look at that build. This is the horse race course from last season. It's been brought over to this one, still looks absolutely gorgeous. And it's right in front of my ice farm. It kind of makes me feel I need to come over here, give this some structure, make it a more interesting backdrop for this build at some point. For now though, it's time to enter the end dimension. I've done some preparations here. Look, lots and lots of materials we're going to need, as well as the contents of my ender chest. And we have something very urgent to do when we pop through to the other side. That is to essentially clog the zombies that are in here, like block them off. That's going to involve more blocks than I expected. And if you're wondering about those sounds, well, that's what that is. So I was over here farming copper again at the request of some other hermits, but this was always supposed to be temporary, and now I want to move it somewhere else. And in case you're like, X, I got no idea what this farm is. It's this episode here, 1062, where we first built it. So you might just want to check that one out if you want to know what on earth's going on here. But now that the zombies are trapped inside of the farm, it means that we can release them at a later date. There is a lot of them in there. So I'm going to go off in this direction by 500 blocks away from the center of the end, and we will be in the middle of the void. And I will do this with a pathway made out of slabs. Now, as you saw, there were a heck of a lot of zombies that are going to walk along this path. So I've been thinking this through. We're going to put some like pillars at the front here, so as they follow me in, they kind of get funneled into this one particular space, and then they can make their way across here. Now, just a reminder, this is made out of slabs to stop endermen spawning on it. I'm not sure if it stops them teleporting though. That might be a problem. Anyway, my biggest problem right now is how intensely I'm going to be holding down the shift button over the void as I place these slabs over and over again. Oh, yeah. I got rockets, I got wings, don't worry. In fact, they could do with a repair, I think. And I know we're in the end dimension, but sometimes I like to be lazy and just use my bottles of enchanting. Portable XP on the go. Only takes a handful of these and we're all mended up. I should also definitely have one of these in my offhand. But yeah, with all of that established, now I'm just placing slabs over the void, and it's gonna be a little nervy. And after slabs must come copper blocks. What on earth do we have here? Oh yes, these are the spawning platforms that need to be meticulously placed around the farm that will go in the center. And that's actually why there's like glow lichen here to stop endermen from spawning on this part of the platform. And then where we need the zombies to spawn, they can do that, but they've got a roof above them. So endermen can't spawn on these spots, but our zombies can. And if you were paying attention earlier, you might have noticed that I brought a lot of honeycomb with me. I've decided not to use this. I was actually going to wax like every single block, but after I started I thought this would probably look cooler in the oxidized texture. So what we're going to do is just build it out of this one, and then slowly it will change over time. So I joke about being nervy in the end. There was actually a time where we used to come and do things like this before we had the elytra, and that was definitely nervy. But these days, you know, if you're going to fall out of the water stream, you'll be alright. Okay, so I've got more building to do. As you can see, I've come down lower. We're going to have like a big box underneath this farm. And a few hours later, that big box is complete. You might recognize this bit here. It's just now built with copper and glass. This is the killing chamber. And we still got our trusty trapdoor here. But for the most part, when I fly over, I'm just going to like swoop in underneath down into this space. And there's a bit of a story to be told here. We spent a live stream trying to figure out a better way to get the items out from the zombies up top and sort out all of the copper. And then it turned out there was a world download already available with this storage solution and the item pickup system in place. That is this system here, and if I flick this lever and move into this space, you can kind of see these hopper minecarts going around over and over again. They're going to pick up all the items that go up top, and they're going to sort out all of the junk and put all of the copper into these chests. And there is some credit. If I activate my schematic, you can see that this was designed by Freeze and Mirage Wedjack. So, good job. I wish I'd have known about it sooner, as it would have saved me some time tinkering around. But to be fair, tinkering around with redstone is always a lot of fun. Anyway, as you can see, I've built this free-wide platform over to the main island. So I need all of these zombies to follow me across, and here's where things get a little unpredictable and potentially scary. I don't have much in the way of a plan here. I figured let's get rid of some of the water. Oh, they're gonna like pop out everywhere in just a second, aren't they? Oh, and they've all got shiny swords. Okay, this is weird. Let's break a few more blocks. Oh, there's freedom. Hoo! Hoo! Okay. Dang. How many of them are there? Quite a lot. Okay, and I don't want to lose too many of them, but I'm sure some stragglers are going to get left behind. And yeah, just trying to keep them all on me. We're definitely going to lose some along the way, right? Aha, I have this thing configured nicely, so when we're walking across, we can easily just turn around and see how many we got. Right, I got them in one big dense group. Yep, this is absolutely working. It is kind of hypnotic how they're all in a perfect line. I wish I had replay mod on right now. Yeah, if my camera account is on, it means I'm probably using replay mod, as I don't put it on my regular client. Yeah, look, that is such a cool sight. I don't want to keep banging on about it, but I am just like staring at them as they all move synchronously. It's not far to go now either. The thing is, I got to get them into the trap, and I'm kind of worried I might have missed a step, so we could be in for some chaos when we arrive. Oh, I absolutely made a mistake, didn't I? I forgot to put water back in the farm, one over here, and then one on this side. And look, now all of our friends are messed up. Dang it, what have I done? Okay, let's try and get them all on me. They're all on me. I'm going to have to use another rocket, aren't I? And with a hard landing. Yeah, it's a bit messed up, but most of them are coming along. Now, because they're all after me, in theory, I think all I have to do is go into this space. Maybe down here as well. And then they start getting inside. I might need to punch one. I had to punch one last time. Now they're crowding in here. Excellent. And now we get to test this thing out. So every time I click, we are potentially spawning in some reinforcements. And that's already happening. Beautiful. It is done. And yes, we left a few stragglers behind. Actually, only 2, which is pretty good. Well, I guess there's nothing else for me to do right now other than go AFK and test this thing. And testing was successful. Here it is running over a 10-minute period. Obviously, it's been sped up, and you can see the zombies do indeed accumulate a fair bit. And after that, I did another test, which lasted about 6 minutes, and I thought I'd just give you a different view of it. So this thing is absolutely amazing, but look at all of those items. I forgot to turn on the system below, but that actually gives me an opportunity to show you what it's doing. It's just continuously sort of cycling these around, and that then chucks loads of these items out, and they get burnt over there. Of course, any copper that comes through gets picked up. I have now installed a beacon, and this means that we can use the farm AFK. You can kind of like interact with it here. I've tried to make it central, but unfortunately, like, these blocks are right in the center. And I might change the position of this because it means from afar you got like these clunky iron blocks just below this thing. Yeah, I think what I'll do on a live stream is put 4 of them in the area and put them all the way down at the bottom of the world so they kind of like shine up through this space. But for now, what I need to do is just get this farm under control so that I can AFK at it indefinitely, and that actually involves reducing some of the spawning spaces. So I've put a torch at the end of each of these platforms, and you can see it kind of cuts off like half the platform. So there's going to be a lot of experimentation here. I'll spend a lot of time at this place. As you can see, it is starting to oxidize. And I did have a moment where I was like, everyone's going to call me a derp again. Maybe copper doesn't oxidize in the end, but there's proof of it now. Oh, and let's get rid of these suckers, which I got a feeling might be easy. Yep, that's easy. And how about you? Do you want to try? Oh, you going to the side? Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Alright, you come over here and I'll finish off the job. And I almost forgot to show you the fruits of our labour. All of this copper and all of that copper there. And that's been done in about an hour of AFKing. And what about the results of a overnight AFK session? Oh, so dramatic with the zoom. Check this out. This is the real drama. Goodness me. 1 night of AFK, 2 double chests full of copper blocks. Yeah, I'm actually going to need to expand the size of this thing and dig down and create a bigger storage system because it just gets so many drops. This farm is insane, but we are done with it for today. So I set out to achieve something today, to give a gift back to Corrales. As you might have suspected, that gift will be copper. I'm going to give him 2 of these shulker boxes. Do you notice anything different down the bottom here? As I alluded to earlier in the episode, we are adding another layer of customization to Hermitcraft. So inside of this chest, I have examples of what's possible with renamed items. And a renamed item, it's always italic. You can actually turn that off. So on this next one, you'll see it's underscored and it's not italic. You can also make the font bold, you can put a line through it, or you can do this crazy stuff. Now it's all possible thanks to a data pack called Format Name made by Mookie Tanuki. And when you open it up, you get this menu of options. So you can change the styles, the colors, the fonts, you can revert changes, you can merge them together, and you can append lore. So I've opened up a couple of the menus, and it should be pretty self-explanatory. When you're holding an item that's been renamed, you can click on many of these different variables, including the color or the font, and change it to something else. And you also get to stack these up as well, and there's quite a lot of color options available, as you saw. And over here we've got the different fonts, there's 4 of them in total, and then you combine all of these things together if you want. Now as it said, this is officially lore. When I hold this flint in my offhand, it's been renamed, and I've also applied some of those changes to it. So if I put it into my offhand, I can then take one of these items and append it. So append from offhand to lore, and now when we look at this item, you can see that it's got the lore attached. And so this is an example of me using multiple different things like bold fonts, different colors and underscores, and you can put all of that into the lore of an item. And this is just going to help hermits with their creativity when it comes to storytelling and the lore of the world. We can customize our items even further. It's just going to be a lot of fun. Dang, Corrales' base is so inspiring. There's like iron golems that fall down into this lava pit. And look, there's a mend and go over here too. Also, this new area, whatever this is going to be, looks amazing. There's a chance he might need a bunch of copper for it, so I've just left him this over here. And now, my friends, we are just left with one further thing to do today. Oh, that's right, it's time to do this in survival. As I alluded to, I had experimented with how the creeper would avoid pressure plates. Whoo! Now, this bit's tricky. Come. Oh, I can't step on the pressure. There's no TNT under here, by the way. It's just occurred to me that all the TNT is gone. Whoo, that was a little bit close. Got to keep looking behind myself. Yeah, you see, this is actually doable, isn't it? We just need that creeper not to derp. Oh, dang, look at that. In one go. And, yeah, now I get my prize, which is nothing. Okay, maybe when I was turning around, the creeper might have edged quite close to a pressure plate, but I guess we won't actually know for sure. I could play this again, but I think you get the point. They can navigate to you in a way where you can keep them away from yourself and also the pressure plates too. So all in all, I think it was a pretty good puzzle, and I loved Cleo's reaction to the explosions too. So with that concluded, I have a little bit of a secret to share with you. I have launched my Minecraft Discussions playlist, which is a new type of content I'm producing for this channel, and you'll see there's a video coming out soon called How We Run and Host Hermitcraft. It is actually the first of a 3-part deep dive into, I guess, my experience of Hermitcraft, and I am so stoked for these videos to come out, so please do check out that playlist and be on the lookout for that video. It's going to come out a couple of days after this one. If all goes to plan, of course. Usually as a YouTuber, something always gets in the way. But anyway, that's what I got planned for you. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the series, and I'll see you soon with another one. Bye bye.